all right, well, people are going to go through interrogation and learn, all right, let's get this former FBI agent who's done interrogation for 26 years. Let's get the best of the best to do these things. We get real life police officers and SWAT and Green Beret, et cetera, to teach you how to shoot. And so the program is designed to be one day, right? You're going to go through 8 to 12 hours of training per category. The escaping part will be less. It'll be more like 4 hours, and because we do 4 hours of like a culmination at the end. Where
it's a building block.
Yes, where we throw you in the trunk, or we turn all the lights off and you got to figure it out, or we put you through a fake robbery situation. We've had a lot of different interesting things that they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what to expect. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but they go through a real life situation, usually on day 3, but sometimes day 2 to surprise people, and they got to go through it. And we got to see if they're going to be calm in the chaos.
This episode of the Warriors Way podcast is brought to you by CCW Solutions Group. If you're thinking about getting your concealed carry but don't know where to start, we guide you through the process step by step. Head over to ccwsolutionsgroup.com to get started. Welcome to the Warriors Way, a podcast about your rights, your freedoms, and the mindset to protect both. So today's guest I'm very excited about. It's Dan Fleyshman from, numerous things, but specifically today we're going to talk about Operation Black Site. So we want to talk about what would make a successful entrepreneur, one that's built numerous businesses, been involved in that, step away from the entrepreneurial aspect and into a tactical mindset of self-protection and building this thing. So really we want to welcome you for being being here today. So can you, for people that don't know who you are,
sure,
tell us who you are.
17 years old, I trademarked the catchphrase, "Who's your daddy?" for over 300 products, that slogan. I was making clothing, beverages, products, barbecue sets, all using the "Who's your daddy" name. 18 years old, did 1 million in sales. 19 years old, did $9.5 million in sales with the Starter Apparel Group. 23 years old, I take it public on the stock market, youngest owner of a publicly traded company in history. And I launched so that I could sell the beverages into distributors, Budweiser, Coors, Miller, Pepsi. Made the first energy drink that's 0 sugar, 0 carb, 0 calorie, and the first green tea energy drink. Over the next 4 years, I don't sleep, and I get into 55,000 retail stores in America through 43 distributors. On the 10-year anniversary, on 5/18, I put another feather in my cap, and I resigned. And I started an online poker site with Dan Bilzerian and DJ Steve Aoki and a bunch of Playboy playmates, and made this cool, fun poker site. All of a sudden, we're the 5th biggest poker site in the world 10 months later. And then the government shuts down online poker in America a year after that. Lose $65 million overnight. Decide.
You lost $65 million overnight?
Yes.
Okay, that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. And decide what's next. I don't want to sit on the floor and cry about it. So I started my charity for the homeless called Model Citizen Fund. I started throwing live events called Elevator Nights. And I started my agency. All 3 things I still have 14 years later. And so that's where it all came from. And then since then, I've been running, the oldest influencer agency in the game. I had done over 110,000 paid posts. We throw the world's largest toy drive with Vince Ritchie here at Hubble Studio, called the Trina's Kids Foundation for the last 12 years. And effectively, my main business now is just finding products and brands that I can either buy pieces of or help scale. And I throw 42 events a year that are business conferences or charity events.
So you're still building businesses, but along the way, you're pouring yourself into people as well. You're building. Sure. There's only one Dan Fleyshman, but pouring yourself into people, trying to make carbon copies of yourself because you've been so successful. So I'm sure there was a lot of pressure along the way.
Oh, for sure.
How did you deal with all that pressure?
You got to stay calm in the chaos.
Yeah.
Just like when you're shooting or fighting, or a fireman walking in or a police officer walking in, you got to stay calm in the chaos. My chaos is different. Obviously, I'm not risking my life. There's not bullets flying at me. But there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of situations and lawyers and backstabbing and scenarios and fighting and arguing and yelling with people you love, you hate, and everyone in between, competitors, retailers, and there's just so much that happens. You got to stay calm in the chaos. But Operation Black Site, like that happened because I was throwing live events, and I saw Bedros Cooley on his event, The Project. It was so intense. And I was like, wow, that is really, really impressive. And there's, packing out and teaching intensely for 75 hours and barely any sleep. But I didn't know that I would bring a friend to that. I wasn't sure if I could bring someone to that intense of a thing. You know, Bedros gets 20 or 30 guys to show up. 0 to 5 of them make it. You know, 0 to 5 of them pass. After.
Really?
It's very intense. And for good reason. And he has his reason for it, and he's got a very intense program. He also then made one for fathers and sons called the Squire program, which I love, a one-day version. And so I came up.
And what's the, you said it's a Squire version?
Yeah, it's called Squire program, which is a father and son, a teenage son and a father.
Okay.
They go through a one-day version of the project. Still very intense. And so when I got, you know, before I even got the ranch, we were already doing Operation Blacksite. Like, I was driving the car, coming up with the name, the concept, trying to figure all these things out. And the name was really cool when it hit me finally after like a lot of back and forth. And so I basically wanted a program that a 68-year-old man could go to, a 22-year-old woman, a 58-year-old woman. They could go to this program and not get hurt. Still gonna be hard. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy.
Sure.
Still gonna be hard, but the one request I have all these instructors, UFC fighters, Muay Thai champions, kickboxing champions, ex-Navy SEALs, SWAT, Green Beret, these are the instructors. My one request, my one rule is no blood. Don't hurt them. It's my only request.
Okay.
It's been 6 years, and if there's blood, if you hurt them, I'm not going to be able to get this lady that's 44 years old to come there. I'm not going to
Sure.
get the 67-year-old man to show up. Like, if they're worried about getting ripped to shreds and thrown down the hill, and they're not going to come back, right? And so I wanted to create an environment that's still hard, it's still going to be tough, and they're going to learn, but they're going to learn from the best people in the world, and they're not going to get hurt.
So when they're stepping into this environment, and I'll just tell you, I'm going to let Dan explain it, but I had the opportunity to go through it a few weeks ago. Still have some bruises.
Sure.
But
No blood, though, right?
yeah, no blood. No blood. I'll say that. But I loved it. I was actually, just a little history on myself that you don't know. I was in the Marine Corps for quite a while. Transitioned over to the Army. Went through Special Forces, the selection. And a lot of the things that we learned in that is in your program.
Awesome.
So can you kind of lay out the program? We already established who it's for.
Sure.
But why did you set it up? And then if you can lay it out.
I saw a lot of situations of what was happening in society during COVID, during the shutdown. This is when I created it during the shutdown. And people need to understand real life situations because more women are getting attacked, more robberies are happening. There were so many robberies happening in Los Angeles, like left and right. The streets are shut down on Hollywood Boulevard. There's smashing all the windows. There's rioting. Like, what do you do? What do you do? If there's a riot going on, if there's a break-in at your home, if something's happening, if people are going crazy and yelling at you because you're not wearing a mask or you are like, there's just so much tension. And so I wanted to train civilians on how to shoot, fight, and escape. Just that three. Yeah. Shoot, fight, and escape. Okay, if I'm going to do that, who am I going to get? I want the UFC champions. I want Michael Chandler. I want to get Tim Kennedy. I want to get Steve Ecker. I want to get this business person. I want to get this lady that's kickboxing champion. I want to get this other woman who's crushing it in Muay Thai. I want to get a diverse group of people. Chris and Carly are going to teach you how to get out of handcuffs, how to get out of ropes. What do you do if you get thrown in the back of a trunk? What do you do?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. Like I said, I spent a total of about 20 years in law enforcement. I was a dispatcher before I became a cop, but it's actually not that difficult to pick handcuff keys. If you know what
the
you're
magic
doing.
trick.
If you know what you're doing,
Yes.
which is interesting because, you know, we always double lock them. That's what we're taught. But your system and your instructors there, I was like, it gave me a false sense of security.
Interesting.
Being a law enforcement officer, be like, oh my gosh, like you really, you can't trust the handcuffs because there's so many different ways to get out of it. And people in our jail system, our criminals, they're experts in getting out of those things because all they have is time.
Right.
And they can sit there and do that. But for the average citizen, to have that ability, and you might not need handcuffs or you might not get handcuffed or kidnapped like that. But the other things that they do, they tie you up and stuff like that. I found it very, very useful.
Sure.
It was, and I'll just tell you, I went home and talked to my wife and my kids, and I said, hey, tie up my hands. And they duct taped them.
Rah,
Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, I'm going to get out of this. And they're like, no way. And it was because I went through your training. I don't walk in fear, but I was like, oh, now I can push people towards that
Right.
training. So I found it very, very useful. I was an urban warfare instructor when I was in the Marine Corps. Your firearms instructors, they are top
Yes,
notch.
for sure.
They teach clearing the house, like hostage rescue. It was fantastic. So I really found a lot of value in that. And your hands-on instructors, your Muay Thai instructors, and the Muay Thai princess.
Yep.
Just shout out to her in Gaston.
Yep.
They are fantastic.
Yes.
So when you say, I want the best of the best, I've seen it, and that is truly exactly what you guys do. You offer that, and I just don't understand why there's not a million people, and like there should be a line of people going through these things.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of people don't think something like this is ever going to happen. So they
Sure.
walk around in this false sense of security until it happens.
And then it's
Until
too
it
late.
happens.
Then they get training afterwards.
Correct.
I want people to get trained before their house gets robbed.
Yeah,
I want
absolutely.
to get trained before you get carjacked. Like, that's the whole goal of it. Like, you get someone like Tony Blauer. It's been 40 years of Tony Blauer training.
Right.
40 years.
Yeah.
And then you get him there, and instead of having pay him zillions of dollars, you get to go through a weekend experience.
Yeah. And so everything that you learn there, it's not only about tactics. It's learning how to operate under pressure.
For sure.
You know, and it really, one of the things that they teach you during the escape portion is just to breathe.
Yep.
Like, center yourself and breathe. You know, and everybody talks about, oh, like, you're going to center yourself. But it absolutely works because it creates a clear mind.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So, absolutely, I think everybody should be doing that. What, kind of circling back to the business thing, I know you built this up. What do most people lack in business that make them successful, that have made you successful, Operation Blacksite successful, whom, just so you know, I'm going to invite a bunch of your instructors on in future episodes.
Great.
Because we really want to highlight what they do. But on the business standpoint, from a successful entrepreneur, you're doing these things. But back to the business portion, there's a lot of people that try a business and fail. Like, what is it that made you successful and gave you the opportunity to do something like Operation Blacksite that other people miss?
The one word is relentless. I will relentlessly text, phone call, sell, phone call, talk to investors, talk to lawyers, talk to accountants, talk to designers, talk to the staff. I am talking to everyone morning, noon, and night. I do 800 texts a day, every day.
800.
That's 24,000 a month. It's almost 300,000 a year. That is on my phone. You can look at it right this second.
Right.
I do emails and direct messages and phone calls. And you saw me on a Zoom call when
Right.
I am relentless. And so not everything's going to work out. I don't want to pretend like it's all pretty, but I'm relentless. And I will outwork, outmaneuver, outpush every single part of every single aspect of a business.
Right.
And so when I come up with Operation Blacksite, a few months later it was live. We're at the Hollywood Sports Paintball Park. Then I was like, man, we should get a ranch. We got a ranch a year later and started doing it there for the last half a decade. Like, if I come up with a vision and concept, I will execute on it. And again, I'm not saying everything's going to be perfect, but I don't need perfect.
Right.
I need to do everything I can to make this thing work. And I'm going to execute and think about the fact that, like, I research everything about my competitors. I call it stalking my competitors. Before I launched Operation Blacksite, I looked at every version of every different training program out there, all of them. Before I started Cards and Coffee, my sports card stores, I drove around like 30 or 40 stores and visited all the different card stores to say, why is the safe over there? Why is the glass case over here? Why is it not next to the front door? Where are the security cameras in this card store? I went to literally 30 or 40 stores before I opened my store. I obsessively stalk my competitors. And so we live in a day and age now where I can learn everything about tanning salons. I can learn about a new gun company. I can learn about how to make silencers. I can learn all this stuff in hours.
Right.
Not 6 months or a year anymore, in hours. And actually be pretty smart about it compared to everyone else. And I can learn about everything on their website, their funnel, their ads. What are they doing? How many silencers are they selling? I can learn it all in hours. And so I think the biggest thing that's holding people back is their fear to just execute. Or what is my friend going to think on Facebook?
Yeah. A lot of entrepreneurs say they fail more than they succeed. So they have to continue to push forward. And one of the things, advice that someone always gave me is just be willing to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing that you're pursuing might have a roadblock, but that doesn't mean you're stopping. Pivot, pivot, pivot. So that's interesting. So getting back to Operation Black Site with that mentality, there was a shift at some point where you're thinking you're going through these things where you become like confident in these things. You're not a protector, but you're a survivor. Like that survivor mentality, no matter what is going to be put in your way, Operation Black Site can give you the tools to navigate those things.
Yes.
Right. And that was probably your function or from the beginning, what you wanted to do with Operation Black Site.
I wanted a civilian to be able to go there and feel comfortable afterwards. Are they going to be an expert? No. They're going to learn about how to escape. They're going to learn about shooting, learn about fighting. They can now carry on and get more training at their local karate, jiu-jitsu type studio. They can get local shooting training at their local gun range, et cetera. They can go continue on, but we're going to give them the basis fundamentals at this 3-day boot camp that's going to be burned into their minds. I want them to go back and be able to tell their husbands, wives, and kids about it. I want them to be able to go take their parents to go shooting and learn how to use a gun. I hope you never have to use a gun, obviously.
Right.
But the point is, competence leads to confidence.
Yes.
Competence leads to confidence. If we walked outside right now and there was a 40-year-old male, fit, good-looking guy, and handed him a gun, but he's never had a gun before, he's not going to be...
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
But then you have a 76-year-old woman who went through Operation Black Site, and you hand her a gun. She's ready to rock. She's understanding how to hold it, what her safety precautions are, where's the safety, what do I do? Okay, can't keep my finger on the trigger. Like, she just remembers things in her mind that's burned into it, where the strong adult male doesn't know what to do. He's going to be shaking if there was a robbery situation or whatever. And so competence leads to confidence is why I'm so obsessed with training as many people as possible. Whether you go to Operation Black Site or go to your local gun range, just learn how to use a gun.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying you're going to go around carrying 2 guns on your hip and on your ankle. Like, I'm not saying you're going to become a gunslinger. Understand it. Understand the situation.
Yeah. So when you're going through it, and I'm just going to ask you if you want to break it down in a percentage, that's fine. Like, how much of it, your program, is mindset versus real world application?
So I came up with the general concept of the shoot, fight, and escape, but then I used experts. So I don't want to pretend like I'm the perfect person for it.
You're a student.
I brought
Everyone's
them
a
together.
student.
Exactly. I brought together, hey, let me get UFC champions. Let me get Brazilian jiu-jitsu and fighting champions. Let's get these people here to teach you what to do on the ground. All right, we have these characters here. How do I escape? All right, let's get these people, Chris and Carly. They've done this for many, many years, right? All right, people are going to go through interrogation and learn. All right, let's get this former FBI agent who's done interrogation for 26 years. Let's get the best of the best to do these things. We get real-life police officers and SWAT and Green Beret, et cetera, to teach you how to shoot. And so the program is designed to be one day, right? You're going to go through 8 to 12 hours of training per category. The escaping part will be less. It'll be more like 4 hours, and because we do 4 hours of like a culmination at the end. You know, where
It's a
we're
building block.
Yes, where we throw you in the trunk, or we turn all the lights off and you got to figure it out, or we put you through a fake robbery situation. We've had a lot of different interesting things that they don't know what's going to happen. They don't know what to expect. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but they go through a real life situation, you know, usually on day 3, but sometimes day 2 to surprise people, and they got to go through it. And we got to see if they're going to be calm in the chaos. And so it's continuously evolving, right? As other people come there, other instructors come in, we start to tweak it. Hey, why don't we teach this part for the shooting? Hey, why don't we add this part for the fighting? Hey, why don't we do this part? And then in between there's also business speakers. And we talk about your finances. We want you to be financially set. We want you to understand investing. We bring in speakers that talk to you about investing. People are like, what are you talking about? What does that have to do with it?
Your financial stability is sometimes almost as important as your physical stability. Or
It weighs on
foundation.
people's minds.
Of course it does.
And so we talk them through about investing. We talk them through about their household. We talk them through real life situations with experts.
Oh, nice. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but do you feel society is getting less prepared, less safe, than just relying on someone else to protect them? And why do you think that is?
We've never been less safe. Where at any moment, anything can happen anywhere in this country.
But even globally now.
Well, globally, it's chaos, right? You think about household name city like London, you can't walk outside. The sheer amount of stabbings that are happening. It's not propaganda. They're showing non-stop stabbings that are going on there. And what can you do? Because it's such a quick scenario.
Right.
Unless you know how to fight, or unless you know how to evade, unless you know how to do a tourniquet. We teach tourniquets at Operation Black Site because there's sometimes you are not going to be stopping someone with a knife, and now you got to figure out how to survive.
Right.
And so you can only imagine what's going on in Mexico and some of these other places. But like when people are traveling, you're a target. If you're an American traveling overseas, you are a target in a lot of countries. Whether they're coming for your watch, your wallet, your kids, your life, like they might be coming for something, and you have to understand what to do in those scenarios. And again, we're not trying to say you're going to be a superhero and always fight, but we want you to walk away from it. Sure. We want to understand how you can escape from those situations. And so with shootings happening at high schools and shootings happening out in the streets and shootings happening inside of churches, like we talked about earlier, like you have to be mentally prepared.
Absolutely.
And so I don't see it slowing down at all because there's more and more chaos. There's more and more stress. More and more jobs are being lost to AI and to situations. And when people lose their jobs, what happens? They become desperate.
Absolutely. Why do you think people are ignoring these signs, though? Like, why are people, the vast majority of people they live in this la-la land, but why do you think that is? Because we haven't been tested as a country, or?
I can give some very basic examples of
Yeah.
why we ignore reality. Have you been to a casino?
Oh, there you go.
People walk into casinos and they see that there's 3 towers and they still think they can win at blackjack.
Right.
Have you heard of cigarettes?
Oh, sure.
It's disgusting. It smells bad. It looks bad. It feels bad. It tastes bad. Everything about it is disgusting and causes cancer. And yet there's billions of dollars per month that are sold.
Right.
For the last 100 years. Have you heard of drugs? Have you heard of alcohol? Like,
yes.
We make bad decisions.
Oh, 100%.
And so it's human nature that we know a girl goes back to her abusive boyfriend 7 times. And then she goes back the 8th time. And he beats her up and she goes back the 9th time. She knows she should leave, right? She knows that I should leave. And then she goes back a 10th time.
True.
Wow, he beat the crap out of me in public in front of my friends. And goes back an 11th time.
Yeah, he still loves me. Or she.
I can fix him.
Yeah. Or in some situations, she still loves me. So I would actually, it's a building block, Operation Black Site. And you can continue to go back and learn more and more and more each time. So in my world, we deal with a lot of concealed carry. This is what we do. Talk to people about the Second Amendment and their rights and their freedoms. But I would encourage anybody that comes through Operation Black Site, if they don't have a CCW, go to your local agency and get a concealed carry. Because even the best fighter with distance cannot stop a firearm.
Yeah.
So, and I think that the training that you guys provide at Operation Black Site is essential. It's a good building block, but don't stop that training. So when people take your training, I know one of the things that they say is, like, this is a start. This is a foundation. Like, you need to continue to build upon this foundation. How many times have you gone through that training?
I mean, I've been to almost every single Operation Black Site ever since
And how many?
For 6 years now.
Okay. And how often do they do it?
We used to do it quarterly. Now we do it monthly. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've been monthly.
Wow.
Once we got into the ranch, we started to switch to monthly.
Nice.
So I've been through it a lot of times.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. When it comes to people's safety, this is kind of another offbeat question. What is one of the mistakes that most people make about their own personal safety, in your opinion, having being an expert in Operation Black Site?
Yeah, they think they're safe when they go outside. They think they're safe when they go to the mall. They think they're safe when they go to the movies or they're walking out of the restaurant, especially in some of these key cities like Los Angeles, New York, etc. Like, don't even talk about Chicago. You are not safe.
Right.
And a lot of situations happen when you're just in the valet. A lot of situations happen right in front of your house. A lot of situations happen where people are now getting followed to their house, which I can tell you story after story after story about very well-known people that got followed to their houses because people put an air tag on their car.
Oh, absolutely.
Then what? Right?
Right.
And sadly, it's happening to a lot of girls. You know, these girls go out to the nightclub or bar or restaurant and someone puts an air tag on their purse or air tag on the back of their car. That's it.
And that is it. Actually, we had an episode of a young man out of LA. He was on break from work, and right across the street, a male, it turns out he's from the cartel, he was kidnapping 2 young ladies.
Whoa.
And he got involved and it got in a shootout with this cartel member and ended up killing him.
Yes.
But saved the 2 girls in the process.
Wow.
So these things do happen, and everybody thinks it's not going to happen to me. They have, this false sense of confidence, a false sense of self. In going through your course, I'm not a small guy, but some of the people there, I'm like, dude, like I'm much larger than this person. But that false sense of confidence, can you speak to that? Like, it really shouldn't matter the size, because some of the people, there was a 14-year-old kid that was going through, and I was like, man, that kid is a fighter.
Yeah.
Well,
if you look at the Muay Thai princess, right? Like,
yeah.
She's, what is she, 5'4", 5'5", 5'6"?
Yeah, we're going to get her on.
Yeah, she would beat up everyone in this room.
Oh, for sure.
Right? And so the size, listen, if a trained fighter is bigger than her, obviously they're going to win. If a trained fighter is bigger than us, they're going to win. But there are plenty of guys that are special forces that are 5'6" and would dismember all of us in this room.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
what's interesting is, because of my military background, most operators, when they first start, they are thin. They're, I don't want to say they're pencil thin, but they're very thin. But it's that tenacity, that mindset of,
and the skills.
Just keep moving, because the skills can be taught, but what can't be taught is heart. Mm-hmm. So much like for you in business, I don't want to circle back to that, but is heart. Like, I will never give up. I will never give up. So this mindset, it's really something that you are or you're not. You just have to jump in and move forward with any training. Any training is better than no training.
For sure.
Right. So for our audience, is there anything that you want to say about Operation Black Site, like words of wisdom? Tell them a little bit about the program, where they can find you, and how we can continue to support you.
So operationblacksite.com. It's a 3-day experience in Temecula, California. If you can't go to Temecula, if you can't go to Operation Black Site, get training. You need to learn how to fight. If you want to learn about karate, jiu-jitsu, kung fu, picking something that's Krav Maga, like a lot of women are taking Krav Maga, picking something that you like and you feel comfortable with, and get training at it. Get good at it. I'm not saying you have to become an expert, but get good at it. Shooting, go to your local gun range. You can hire someone to train you. It's not that expensive. What is expensive is losing someone you love. What is expensive is losing your watch, losing your car, losing your wallet. It's almost like an insurance policy for you to learn about it and understand it, so that if it ever arises, which hopefully it doesn't, you'll know what to do. And when it comes to getting training, you can be watching on social media. Instead of you learning about what's happening on Love Island or The Bachelorette, spend an hour watching these videos about gun shooting. Spend some time learning about fighting and escaping. Some time learning about grappling and how to escape if someone's... There's a lot you can learn on YouTube that's not this nonsense that most people are watching.
Yeah, so I think what's interesting, to kind of tie it all together, is the best investment that you'll ever make is the investment into yourself.
For sure.
Absolutely. Believe in yourself, gain that confidence. just invest in yourself. And that investment will pay dividends down the road, not only for you, but the people you surround yourself with, because then you naturally gravitate to other people that are successful. You never want to be, from a business standpoint or a training standpoint or whatever, you never want to be the most successful person in the room, because you want to have people that lift you up, that you can to build. This is why trainers train with people that are better than they are, because they elevate their skills and stuff like that. They learn from business people to, hey, what were your failures? I mean, you probably don't take advice from someone that's just starting out. You're
Right.
like, I seek the counsel of people that have been here and done what I've done. And it's the same with Operation Black Site. So I would encourage everybody to check out Operation Black Site and just invest in yourself. That's all we're asking. Like, be the difference that you seek in the world. All right. Thank you again for coming out and watching us here at the Warriors Podcast. Again, please like, follow, and share our content. It's the only way we're going to be able to continue to spread this and get more people on. And if you have someone that you want on our podcast, please reach out to us. We're willing to talk to anybody that has a great story. Okay. And again, Dan, thank you so much for being on our podcast today.